Today, I bring to you a message that does not belong to one nation, one culture, or one generation. It is a message that echoes across the world, a message that is simple yet powerful, gentle yet unshakable, the message of overcoming fear and self-doubt. Think for a moment, how many times have you stood at the edge of opportunity, ready to leap, but you didn't? How many times did your heart whisper, "Yes, you can," but your mind shouted, "No, you can't"? That, my friends, is the voice of fear and self-doubt. It is the invisible prison that has stolen more dreams than failure ever did. Fear is not reality. Fear is a feeling. Science tells us that human beings are only born with two natural fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Every other fear, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of poverty, fear of judgment, these are learned, and if something can be learned, it can also be unlearned. Self-doubt is that quiet enemy within. It whispers, "You're not good enough, you don't have what it takes, no one will believe in you." But remember this, self-doubt is not truth. It is only a story you've been telling yourself for too long. And once you change that story, you change your life. Look at the history of America. This nation was built by people who challenged fear. Christopher Columbus didn't stop at the fear of the ocean. Abraham Lincoln didn't surrender to the fear of repeated failure. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't remain silent in the face of hatred and racism. And today, the people you admire most are those who refuse to bow down to fear and self-doubt. So ask yourself, if they had surrendered, would America still be called the land of opportunity? The way to overcome fear begins with recognition. You must name your fear. Identify it clearly. Are you afraid of failure, of rejection, of loss? When you name your fear, it loses its power. Then you must take action, because fear grows in stillness but shrinks in motion. Even the smallest step forward teaches your mind that it is possible. You must also learn to practice positive self-talk. When your inner voice says, "I can't," reply with, "Yes, I can." This simple shift rewires your energy. You must embrace failure, for failure is not the end. It is the teacher. Thomas Edison once said, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. I found 1,000 ways that don't work." And you must change your environment, surrounding yourself with those who lift you up, not those who drag you down. Courage grows in communities that believe in you. The same is true for self-doubt. To overcome it, recall your past victories, no matter how small, because they are proof that you are capable. Stop comparing your journey to others, because your path is yours alone. Start small, because big dreams are built on small steps. Each step builds confidence and reduces self-doubt. Close your eyes and visualize the person you want to become. See yourself succeeding, smiling, leading. The clearer your vision, the stronger your belief. Find mentors who can see greatness in you even when you struggle to see it in yourself. And above all, celebrate progress. Every small win is evidence that you are moving forward. Let me tell you a story. There was once a boy who stuttered badly. His classmates mocked him. His self-doubt grew so strong that he feared speaking at all. But one day he decided, "I will not let fear define me." He practiced in front of a mirror every single day. Years later, that same boy became one of the greatest speakers and leaders in history. His name was Winston Churchill. Imagine if Churchill had surrendered to fear and self-doubt. How different would history be? Let me remind you of another example, the story of Tony Robbins. Here was a young man who grew up in poverty, with no money for food, no resources, and no support system. At times, his family could not even afford a proper meal. But instead of surrendering to fear and self-doubt, he turned his pain into power. He studied, he practiced, he pushed himself beyond every limit. Today, he is one of the world's greatest motivational speakers, inspiring millions across America and the globe. His life proves one thing: it is not your circumstances that shape your destiny. It is your courage to rise above them. Consider Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. He could have drowned in fear and self-doubt, telling himself, "It's over, I am forgotten." But instead, Mandela used those years to strengthen his vision, sharpen his will, and prepare himself for leadership. When he walked free, he became not just a president, but a symbol of hope for an entire continent. Or look at Malala Yousafzai, a young girl from Pakistan. She was shot for daring to seek education. The easy choice was to surrender to fear, to live in silence, but she rose instead. Her courage turned into a global movement for education and women's rights. Today, the world honors her not because she never felt fear, but because she refused to bow to it. Think also about Steve Jobs. He was fired from his own company, Apple. Imagine the self-doubt he must have faced, the voices saying, "You're finished." But instead of giving up, he built new companies, created Pixar, and eventually returned to Apple to lead one of the greatest corporate comebacks in history. His story proves that failure and rejection are not the end. They are often the turning point. My friends, you live in a land where every dream is possible. This is the nation where the son of a poor laborer became president. This is the nation where the child of a struggling single mother became the world's richest man. This is the nation where a young African American, Barack Obama, rose to lead the United States. They were ordinary people who faced extraordinary fears, but they did not bow down, and neither should you. And remember, this message is not just for America. It is for every person across the globe, whether you are in Asia, Africa, Europe, or the Middle East. The truth remains the same. Fear and self-doubt are universal, but so is courage. The dream of a farmer in Pakistan, the vision of a student in India, the ambition of an entrepreneur in Africa, or the determination of a young girl in Latin America, they all face the same test. The test is simple. Will you surrender to fear, or will you rise with faith? Remember this: fear and self-doubt are not your enemies, they are your tests. They do not come to break you, they come to ask, how badly do you want it? So rise, dream big, act bold, and tell your inner voice, I will not fear, I will not doubt, I will not stop. Because the greatest victory of your life will begin the very moment you overcome fear and self-doubt.